Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media and entertainment. I am Ken, and today, guys, we are here to take a look at and review The Strangers Chapter 1, this nice new 4K Steelbook from Lionsgate that I had to go to 2 Walmart locations to find this thing and pick it up, but I wasn't going to do a review for this, but after I watched it, I felt like I had enough to say, and I do want to dive into the new packaging on this Lionsgate Steelbook because it's different than what they usually do, so I thought there was enough to say about this release to do a video. And also what I wanted to do with this video is kind of dive into the collector mindset a little bit, do a little bit of a topic-centric video on the collector mindset, collector mentality. Why do we make some of the purchasing decisions that we do? Why do we buy movies that got horrible ratings and scores and everybody said were terrible, but we're like, oh, cool, Steelbook, let me get that add to the collection? Because I posted this on Instagram and I was kind of surprised at the comments. Like, I thought most people were going to say I was stupid for picking this up. Most people were saying they did the same thing. They were like, oh, that movie was terrible. Most people saw in the theaters. Oh, that movie was terrible. We saw in the theaters, but I had to get that Steelbook because it was really cool. So it's not just me. I'm not alone, so I guess that's kind of nice, but I think we're all kind of like that. Even those that don't want to admit it, like sometimes something cool comes out and we just want to get it, even if the movie's not that good, or vice versa. Like maybe the movie is great, but an edition comes out that's not that great, that doesn't look that great, but you got to get it anyway because you love the movie. So there's all kinds of reasons why we collect the way that we do. So I want to dive into that a little bit with this video today. But before we get into it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Also, leave me a comment down below. What did you think about The Strangers Chapter 1? This is the first in a planned trilogy. We're supposed to get part 2, I think, later this year, and then maybe part 3 early next year. Not quite too sure there, but so that means there'll be 2 more cool Steelbooks to collect for this franchise, I guess. So let me know if you saw this movie. What did you think? Did you get the Steelbook? Did you succumb to the pressures of the physical media community? You got to get the Steelbook. Or did you get the regular 4K? Did you get the standard Blu-ray? I'll have links for everything, guys, down below in the description. So first off, let me just talk about this release, and then we'll dive into the whole collector mentality, or maybe I'll just jump around everywhere as I'm talking. That's probably more realistic for me. But anyway, let's talk about the movie. So I'm not a big fan of the original Strangers film with Liv Tyler. Like, I saw it once, and honestly, I haven't seen it since. And to me, it's an okay home invasion film, but like there were much better after that. Like, I thought Hush was incredible and definitely a stronger film than Strangers. Mike Flanagan's Hush, which is on Netflix, which I hoping gets a physical media release soon. It's being put on a streaming service by Shout Studios, so hopefully they do a Blu-ray of that very soon. But that was a Netflix original. And then we had You're Next, which I think is like the gold standard when it comes to home invasion films, just kind of taking that genre and flipping it on its head. But, The Strangers is okay. It's a fine home invasion movie. I understand why it's iconic, the randomness of the killers, coming. It's scary, right? It kind of takes you back to the Halloween days. Michael Myers, why is he killing people? We don't get it. We don't understand. That's scary. The unknown's always scary. So I get why people are afraid of it. I just didn't think it was particularly that good or that exciting of a film. Then The Strangers Prey at Night comes out. I saw that in the theaters. I thought that was honestly a little bit better than the original Strangers. I enjoyed the movie. Still didn't think it was great. So going into this, I really didn't have any kind of like expectations or attachment to the originals to be let down by this. Like, if the movie wasn't good, then oh well. Like, it wasn't going to be like the end of the world for me. And my wife and I watched this the other night, and this movie just got tore apart by the critics and Rotten Tomatoes and audience, which movies are subjective anyway, guys. Like, make up your own mind. Like, if you want to see a movie, see it. Don't base it on what other people said about it. Like, just watch the movie. If you're interested in it, if the trailers look good to you, if it's just something you want to see, then check it out, like, because it could surprise you. And what I will say about this is it's not great. It's not great. I'm not going to sit here and say it's a great movie, but it's okay. It's fine for the genre that it falls in. I think the thing about this movie and what kind of made some people a little irritated with it were the characters are very dumb, and they make all of the Look, it's kind of a trope of the genre for characters to just make stupid decisions throughout. That's kind of what leads to the big moments of horror films. It leads to them being killed and stuff. Like, characters always make stupid decisions in horror films. That's what makes horror films horror films. Like, that's a trope of the genre, right? But in this movie, like, they really, I feel like, go out of their way to make the characters make the most stupid decisions possible at every single turn. Like, for example, the girl, she's waiting on her guy to bring some food back, and there was already somebody that knocked on their door, so why is the guy even leaving her there alone anyway? He goes off, and then there's another disturbance. There's noises outside. There's a girl walking around the house. She knows somebody's out there, and then she goes and takes a shower. And it's like, why would you do? Well, first off, why would you go take a shower knowing that your guy's going to come back with food in like 10 or 15 minutes or so? It didn't make any sense. I'm not trying to spoil The Strangers, but it's just things like that. And they're doing that kind of stuff like all throughout the movie, just making the dumbest decisions possible, to the point where it feels like Scary Movie. Like, it feels like a parody of a Strangers film. So I think that's why the movie got a lot of hate when it came out, because of those stupid character decisions. The movie's okay, though. There's some suspenseful moments. I think that Rennie Harlan knows how to direct and create atmosphere and to create tension and suspense, and he does a good job. There's some really good visuals in the movie as well, some really cool shots. There's one with her playing the piano, and one of the strangers is like sitting in the background. You can see him in the mirror. There's some cool stuff like that throughout the movie that I enjoyed. But yeah, characters are dumb. Performances are pretty laughably bad. I mean, I think the one girl's like in a CW show or something. She's okay, but the guy's like awful. And I'm not trying to bash on an actor, but like the guy in this movie is just so bad. The strangers are pretty good, I guess, and effective for what they are. So the movie's okay. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen in the world. It's fine. Now getting into the 4K, this is a native 4K. You got Dolby Vision, you got HDR10, and I thought it looked great. I thought it looked absolutely spectacular. There's great clarity there. I mean, it is a very dark film, so you have that contrast level with the HDR. You have a lot of depth there. You can make out a lot. The clarity is great with that 4K, but to be honest, I watched the Blu-ray for about 5 minutes, and it looks really good as well, as is the case with a lot of modern films. The differences between the Blu-ray and the 4K is really kind of minuscule, but you definitely notice that uptick in overall clarity. It looks a lot sharper in 4K for sure. So if you're huge into the visuals, guys, I do recommend getting that 4K, but it honestly, like, if you're somebody that just doesn't notice it too much, like, maybe just get the Blu-ray, save yourself a few bucks. Now, getting into the sound, you do have Dolby Atmos here, which is really cool. Now, I don't have that full setup. I've got a soundbar, I got a subwoofer, but it sounded really great. Like, there's a lot of really like loud moments, a lot of loud bangs going on, a lot of subtle moments where you can hear like footsteps and creaking and all that kind of stuff. And all that really sounds great with the sound. So my wife even noticed it. We were sitting there, she's like, man, this movie's just got really like nice, clean, crisp sound to it. And I agreed as well. And I was like, it's that Dolby Atmos. Like, it just feels like it's all around you, like you're in the house with them being stalked by the strangers. So I thought the sound was really great for sure. And it's really cool that Lionsgate included that with a release like this. Just a low budget horror film has Dolby Atmos. And I think honestly, it works great. It works great with this film. So the Dolby Atmos was really good as well. Get into the special features. There's actually a lot of really good special features on this release as well. You got an audio commentary with the producer, Courtney Solomon, and actress Madeline Peach, I think is her name, but the main lead actress in the film with the red hair. So she does the audio commentary. You also have Reimagining a Classic, Making the Strangers Chapter 1. This is a really good making of. It's like 17, 18 minutes, but you actually have Rennie Harlan in this making of, talking about making the movie. And they're all just talking about remaking, because this is a remake, guys. It's not really a sequel. It doesn't really have anything to do with the first one or Pray at Night. It's kind of its own thing. So I think they're calling it a remake rather than a reboot or a requel or a sequel or whatever. I think they specifically called it a remake or a reimagining with this documentary, and talking about, you know, how The Strangers was kind of older and they wanted to go back and reimagine the film and kind of do it over again. So that's a really good documentary, though. Everybody's got really good insights, and you could tell that they are fans of The Strangers and they wanted to make a good movie. And you know what? Who knows? This is only the first part of this trilogy. maybe it gets better and maybe it'll recontextualize the first one. Maybe there's a reason they were making all the dumbest decisions possible in this one. Maybe they'll recontextualize that. There'll be some kind of a reveal that explains all that. Who knows, guys? Who knows what chapter 2 and chapter 3, what the future may hold. You got a hostile environment, the visual design of The Strangers chapter 1, which is a really good feature as well. And you got a theatrical trailer. So some really good stuff here in this release as far as special features, and the new audio commentary is very cool as well. So getting into the packaging though, guys, I don't know if this is going to be controversial or not. I think this is really cool. Like, you open this up, you see the Steelbook. That's the actual Steelbook cover right there. So this is pretty much just cut out. But I like this design. So you got the front cover and all that. And you got some images on the back right there. I'll kind of zoom in if you want to see the specs and all that kind of stuff on the back. I like that all that stuff is just on the back. Like, it's not a J card that rips off. Like, it stays there on the back. So I do like that. I like J cards and everything, but it's like, once you take off the plastic and take them off, it's like, what do you do with them? It's like, and that has all the information on it. So I kind of like that to be with the release. So I appreciate, you know, something like this for sure. But here's the kicker here. And maybe there's another way to open this that I haven't realized yet, but to open this up, like, you can't just simply slide it out the side. You can't simply slide it out the top or anything like that. Like, you actually have to dig in here and pull this out. You have to like pull the tab, and I'll just get it out of the top. You have to pull this open to get it out, and I just don't like that. It's just too much work. You know, call me lazy if you want, but it's too much work. I don't like that. This is a nice like little cardboard package though. It's a nice little cardboard sleeve. It feels nice. And then you take it out, and you got the, you know, just the Steelbook with some really great artwork on it. Really fantastic artwork. I love the artwork on there. And you open that up. You do have a digital code here. You have Lionsgate, Strangers Chapter 1, Blu-ray, and 4K. So this does include the Blu-ray, and it does include the 4K as well. I'll take this off and see if there's any interior artwork as well. Bam, bam, bam. So it is a cool Steelbook. I appreciate Lionsgate trying to change things up, trying to switch things up, but I'm not a huge fan of having to open up the actual like cardboard case to put the Steelbook back in. Like, it's just, it's too much work, and it's just, it leads to the case becoming, you know, over time, like, it's going to wear and tear depending on how much I get the Strangers movie out of the case, which probably isn't going to be too often, but like, it just, you have to open it up. It's just a lot of wear and tear on the case itself it's going to lead to. And I just think that, you know, you should have just had the regular slipcover. That was working for you, Lionsgate. So this is a cool gimmick, a cool one-off. But don't ever do it again. I do like the fold-out, though. I do like the fold-out. I like that with the Paramount Presents, and I also like that with this as well. But let me know what you guys think about the Steelbook packaging on the Strangers Chapter 1. Do you appreciate the change? Are you a fan? Let me know in the comment section below. Lastly, guys, before we get out of here, I wanted to talk about the collector mindset. Why buy a movie that's going to be mediocre, or it's going to be terrible, or you think it's going to be terrible or mediocre? Like I said, I thought it was fine. I thought it was okay. It was definitely mediocre. And quality of a movie, guys, that is always subjective. That is always subjective. Some people could have loved this movie, and that's fine. No shame for that. A lot of people hated this movie. I do think that sometimes people just get caught up in the craze of hating or loving something, and they just kind of want to go with the flow and go with the mindset of everybody else. And if a movie is being widely received as being terrible, then everybody wants to say it's terrible. And most of those people haven't even seen the movie. And if a movie is widely received as being great, then everybody feels like they have to say it's great. I don't feel that way. I free think. I say what's on my mind, regardless of what you guys are going to say in the comments section. And that's honestly the way it should be. We should all feel free to speak our mind and say what we think, especially in this space, in this community. But the movie quality is always subjective, right? It's subjective. Like, this movie could be great to somebody, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong because that's how they feel. This movie could be terrible to somebody, and they're not wrong. That's how they feel. Movies are not black and white. There are shades of gray in films. There are good things about films. There are bad things about films. Even masterpieces that are like literally perfect. You could probably pick out like one thing that you would have changed with that. So there's always shades of gray with movies. It's never one way or the other, but I feel like people get caught in this trap where they feel like they have to say something's great or they have to say it's terrible, and there's no in between. But getting into the collector's mindset, I got this for 3 reasons. This is my reasons why I got this. Got this for 3 reasons. One, it's a cool steelbook with different kind of packaging, and I like collecting unique items and adding them to the collection. So if this is the only type of this steelbook that Lionsgate does, I want to have it in the collection because it's unique. I don't know if it'll ever be valuable in that way, but I just like having unique stuff to showcase and talk about on the channel. So that's one reason. Another reason, I hadn't seen the movie, and I actually wanted to see the movie. So there's a reason right there. My wife wanted to watch the movie, so I wanted to get it to actually watch the film because I was interested in it. Yes, people were saying it was terrible, but sometimes when movies people are saying they're terrible, it makes me want to see them more. Does anybody else feel that way? The last reason, guys, is because I have this channel, and I'm in a very unique position here. And people will ask me all the time, why did you get this, Ken? Why did you get that? Oh, you're stupid for getting this. You're stupid for getting that. I have a channel where I literally want to cover as much physical media as I possibly can. This is what I do. This is what I talk about. I consider this, honestly, like I have a real full-time job. This is like a part-time job for me. And I take it seriously. I really do. You may not feel like I do, but I do take it seriously. So I like to be able to come on here and talk about and give insight and give knowledge on these releases and actually dive into them and actually give you all recommendations on whether or not you should pick it up or whether you shouldn't pick it up. So I like to be able to have that knowledge, that firsthand knowledge, not just looking at pictures online or watching what everybody else is saying about it. I like to get it myself, experience it myself, and talk about it myself. So that is another reason why I wanted to get this and why I'm making this video, because I watched it and I felt like there was enough to talk about. So I wanted to dig in to this release with you guys today. But that's a unique position that I have, and not everybody has that. You know, most of you all watching me do not have that. You don't have YouTube channels. You don't have to worry about that kind of stuff. And I get it. I get it. If you don't want to get this release, I'm not sitting here trying to tell you to get this release. If you want to get it, get it. If you don't. But you know, I do find it interesting. I feel like people judge others by what they collect and what they buy, and I definitely get a lot of judgment in the comment section. I'm not really talking about me specifically, but I hear people talk about collectors and the collecting community and how people collect and saying, well, I don't do this and I don't do that and I would never do that. Well, that's you. That's you. That's not everybody. People have different interests and reasons for why they collect the way that they do. So I think at the end of the day, guys, what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to get across with this video is just respect other people's thoughts and opinions and the way that they collect the way that you do, and let others collect the way they want to, and respect everybody's opinions. Everybody's got different opinions. If you think this movie sucked, then I respect that. If you think this movie was great, I respect that. I thought it was just okay. But in closing, guys, as for the movie, as for the release itself, do I recommend it? I'm kind of leaving that up to you. I thought it was just a mediocre, fun home invasion movie. It's really nothing more than that. I'm not sitting here trying to tell you to go out and get a $30 Steelbook or get a $30 4K release or $20 Blu-ray release. You know, maybe for this movie, wait till it goes down in price. I think $10 to buy this on Blu-ray is probably a good price, and it'll probably be that much in like a month or two. You can get it for $10 on Amazon, so maybe wait for that. The Dolby Atmos is still on the Blu-ray. I think the Blu-ray looks good unless you're just a huge like visual nut and you have that elaborate system and you can't buy anything else other than 4K. Maybe just get the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray's fine here. It still has that audio upgrade as well. So I thought this was okay. I thought it was okay, and I am glad that I have this Steelbook in the collection because I think it's a cool new gimmick from Lionsgate, even though I have my issues with it. But the Steelbook itself is really nice, so I'm glad to have it in the collection. Thank you all so much for watching this video, though. Leave me your thoughts and opinions. I know everybody's going to have different thoughts and opinions. Leave them in the comments section below. Subscribe to my channel. Turn on bell notifications for all future videos, and follow me on all of my social media accounts. Those links are down below in the description, and we'll see you next time.